Hi everyone, it's another day, another share with Phyllis, that's me, for Mad Moody Quilting. So we've been working with, the last 2 weeks, I've been working with the Log Cabin Trim Tool number 2. And it does two size blocks, a 12 and a 6-inch finish blocks. I've been demoing quickly with 6-inch, and the first week we covered the traditional log cabin, how you put your pieces on and how you trim those up, and how we use the ruler. Last week we covered the courthouse steps, and I showed you how you would trim it up and everything. Now I'm not sure. I'm just going to put this black because I don't think in the last two videos we see the actual markings very well, but I think this shows up way better. All right, so we're working on this corner here. This is the 1/4 inch around. You see that we have a square here. Then there's a black square. Then there's a white square. Then there's another black square, a white square, a checkered dot square, and then there's a black square here. So, and then we have the squares for the log cabin, and it's hard to have this other one. It's hard to see where we would go with this, but I think it's this one next, and then it would be this one. It's hard for the, I found it hard with the half square triangle to trim. A little easier with the 6-inch one, but I'm struggling to see where we would go for the next one. And you'll see in a minute what I mean by these squares. There's one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, then a dash line one, and then a back to the, and this one here is part of this big one for the 12-inch ruler. So the half square, the half log cabin looks like this. You have your starting square, and then you put this piece on and this piece, and then this and this one, then this one and this one, and you would trim as you put them. You put these two on first, then you would trim it down, then you do this and trim it down. And I'm going to show you how we trim those down. So let me get rid of that black cloth, and I'm going to show you the first setup. So here we have our square, our white, our off-white, and then our green. And so this piece, you cut your square, this piece would go on first, and then that piece. We cut these strips a little longer than you need, and I'm going to take my K. Buckley scissors, and I'm just going to trim off the excess there so it's not in the way. And then I will have the white above, and then the last strip that I put on here. And we would go to the second square from the corner. And what we want to do is we want to line up that square with this line and this line. And then we're going to trim off these two. And then it's ready. And I'm not trimming this corner, this side, because we'll trim that when we square up the whole ruler. The whole block, I should say. So now we have this ready to go, and the next one would be a piece to go here, which would be white. Once that's on, we put the next green one on, and it will look like this. So this is this piece here, and we put this piece on and this piece. Again, we are cutting these strips a tad longer than we need. And I've cut off the excess of the white because I don't want it under there if I can manage. And now we're ready to trim up. Now this one, we used the second square, the black square. Now we're going to use the white square. So we're going to go in and line this up as best you can, with seam allowance and everything. And I'm looking here at the dotted lines, and I'm just going to cut off the excess again. And now that runs. So we've done this one inside, this one, and then we're going to go and put a piece here, iron it, put a piece, another green strip here, iron it, and it will look like this. There's way more trimming with a half square log cabin than there was with the courtyard steps or the traditional. Now we're going to hit that center one with the writing. And I'm going to lay that in there, and I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to line that up. I'm going to make sure that's square, and I'm going to eyeball 1/4 inch there, and I'm going to make sure that square is lined up with the seam allowance on this side and this side. And we're going to go ahead and trim that down. So that one's done. Okay. Then the next one, we'll put another strip of white. It's going to be a little, and you know what? I forgot to cut this off before I trimmed it. You can cut it off after. It's not a big deal. You can also leave them if you don't want to take the time. And so I'm going to put another white, slightly longer than that measurement. I add about I measure this and then add a 1/2 inch. So I go out on this side. It's like a little step. And it goes a little step on each side. And then the next one of the green, and it's going to look like this. So now we have to trim this up. And we're going to go, we were here for the last trimming on this row. Now we're going to do a trim here. We're going to go to the next white. And I'm going to line this up. And it's, you know, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's close enough that I'm happy with the finished results. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and trim this up. And this one's ready for the next logs. So a white log here, slightly bigger. Oh, again, I forgot to trim that off. I keep forgetting to do that, eh? Like I said, it's not the end of the world if you don't. I just don't like the excess fabric behind my fabric, especially if I'm working with this. If I had it on this side and it shows through. Here on the darker side, it's not so bad. You can leave a light fabric on and stuff. So now this has been trimmed up, and we're going to have a white log here, slightly bigger, and then once that's on, we'll iron it and then put the next green one on and iron it, and it's going to look like this. So this one was just trimmed. Now we're going to get ready to trim this. We put this log here and this log on, and we're going to go ahead and trim. So now we're going to the dotted row one, and we're going to line things up as best we can. And that looks really, really good. And we're going to go ahead and trim this. Now we have one more logs to go on. The white log, slightly bigger. Oh, again, I forgot to cut every time, eh? All right. And then we put the green. So we're going to put the white on, iron it, and then put the green on, iron it, and it should look like this. So now we're ready to physically trim this up. And before I trim this, I want to trim this corner. And the way to do that is we're going to go in, and we're going to go to this square here, line up this as best we can, and yeah, I'm going to line this edge up, this edge to that square, and you see how they've gone out here and here, like they've gone longer, we're going to trim this. Okay, now we're going to turn this and we're going to put, see how this here, we have these two lines? Well, that's the 1/4 inch indicator of where the block is of this square. So we're going to line up, we're going to line this line here up to the raw edge of the block. We're going to line this line up to the raw edge of the block. And here we are, all done. Half log cabin. Half log cabin. So that's it for this tool. This one is the 12 inch and the 6 inch. So you can do 2 sizes with this. I also have the 8 inch log cabin square up tool, or trim up tool, or trim tool, whatever they want to call it. So that's it for now. And I hope to bring you some more inspiration and tutorials on how-tos and how products work, and maybe they will give you an inspiration on some projects that you might want to do this winter. So we'll see you on the next another day, another share. Oh my God, I am tired. Sorry. So we'll see you the next another day, another share, and we will have some happy quilting time. Bye.